Article comparison, mercy, the stamp of creation and one God, many names. Introduction. The articles mercy, the stamp of creation and one God, many names are written by Dr. Umar Faruq Abd-Allah, and they both look into the religion of Muslims. Even though they are written by the same writer, they have some differences in the way they approach religion. There are also several similarities. This paper makes a comparison between the two articles. Summary. In the article Mercy, the stamp of creation, the religion of Islam is considered a religion of peace. There is a lot of emphasis on the meaning of religion. The word Islam means entering into peace. This portrays the religion as having had its strongholds in peace development. Just like the religion of Christianity puts more emphasis on love, Prophet Muhammad, who is the main character, puts more emphasis on mercy. He was the last and greatest of God's messengers, who were mandated to continue the works of Abraham, Jesus, and Moses. He preached to people to have mercy on each other. He emphasized the need for mercy for the less fortunate in society. This goes in line with the stronghold of the religion, which is peace. The religion calls their God Allah, which means God, the true God. The character of the Lord is that of peace and mercy. The article recognizes Allah as the primary name of God. It tends to illustrate that the name of the Lord illustrates who He is and defines the religion. He is seen as the peaceful one and one who is merciful. The name of God either in the Muslim or other religion is respected. The article finds that the ideology, that either Christianity or Islam derived the name, was the same or similar. This is so in that, etymologically, Allah comes from the same root as the biblical words for God that were invoked by the Hebrew prophets and the Aramaic and Syriac words for God used by John the Baptist and Jesus. From the case of the article then it can be derived that the God that either the Muslims or the Christianity worship is the same. On the other hand, the article One God, Many Names, elaborates that the gods worshipped by Christians and Muslims are different. It aims to look at which of the gods is more superior to the other. Though the articles have this controversy, they both recognize that Allah is a unique name that is accorded to the Lord. In the article, the recognition of religion is vested in the life of Abraham. It recognizes that all Islam should be guided by the life of early prophets like Isaac, Moses, and Abraham. The article emphasizes living ethically like the lives of the early prophets of God. The word name is seen as the most beautiful name in the two articles. Similarities. Both articles recognize God as the most supreme being in the life of every Muslim. It is seen as the most beautiful name that is reserved for Him. As for our English word God, it reflects such primordial roots, belongs to the treasury of ancient divine names, and is among the most expressive designations of the Supreme Being. He is the most powerful being responsible for creating the earth and heaven. The earth is where we live, but one day if we maintain the faith and act according to the will of God, we will rejoice in heaven with Him. They also recognize Him as the all-merciful God. He expects humankind to emulate Him in today's life. God's signature in creation is linked to a law of universal reciprocity. Mercy will be shown to the merciful, and it will be withdrawn from the merciless. The articles recognize the works of early prophets in developing religion. They specifically recognize the works of Abraham, Moses, Isaac, and Jesus. The power of God is seen as incomparable. He is seen as one whom the early prophets served, and today's people have no alternative but to follow His teaching. The early prophets were seen as the ones who were to ensure that religion and respect were accorded to God. Differences. The article One God, Many Names recognizes the name God as the only true name of God, whereas the article Mercy, the stamp of creation, recognizes Allah as the supreme and most beautiful name of the Creator. It also recognizes Islam as the only faith that represents perfect peace. Abdullah recognizes Muhammad as the greatest prophet. According to Islamic revelation, Muhammad was the last and greatest of God's messengers, fulfilling the legacy of the biblical and extra-biblical prophets and confirming the teachings of Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. The article One God, Many Names recognizes Abraham as the greatest prophet and father of the region. The author observes that Islamic scripture repeatedly declares the belief that Islam symbolizes a perfect model of Abraham's dispensation to God. He also stated that it instructs Muslims to declare their allegiance to Abraham's God and his primordial teaching. Say, all of you, we believe in God and what was revealed to Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, and the tribes of Israel, and what was given unto Moses and to Jesus, and what was given to all the prophets from their Lord. In the article One God, Many Names, Abdullah observes how the Quran instructs the Muslims to acknowledge their God and the God of the other followers, like the Jews, as the same, while in the article Mercy, the Stamp of Creation, he observes that there is a difference between the two gods, but it is not clear who is supreme to the other. There is a direction that is taken by Mercy, the Stamp of Creation. According to the article, Islam followers should be of current time in their way of doing things. By this, the article portrays that even though the religion was affected by the early prophets, their time is different than the current one. Thus, the most important thing is not living as they did, but to uphold an existence of peace and mercy in today's life. It acknowledges the need for peace, but it should not be taken for granted because of the belief. In circumstances where peace cannot be maintained, there is the use of other means to keep the peace. In the article One God, Many Names, there's a lot of emphasis that today's Muslims should follow the teachings and the life of early prophets. The emphasis is that the life of today's Muslims should be similar to that of the early prophets. There is not much recognition of the changing needs in life. Conclusion. As much as the two articles seem to have some differences, the underlying factor is the supremacy of God. Despite the differences, there is a general recognition that religion is a strong aspect of human life. Whether one is a Christian or a Muslim, he can justify his stand, and thus the most important thing is to respect one's ideologies.